Hey everyone, it's Tuesday. We're back again with another episode 4 of Entrepreneuring 101. And when it comes to entrepreneurs, one person came to my mind, and it's a very good friend of mine. We see each other every day. We work in the same of business, but he does a little bit more than what we do. But this guy, he's pretty much entrepreneur. He could be on the cover of the book. He's a hardworking guy, has done a lot of stuff, and has been very successful. So let me introduce you guys to my friend Cesar Garcia. Hey, Cesar.
Joe, how you doing? How's everything?
Good, good, good. Hey, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on and being on the program with me today. And like I said, when it comes to entrepreneuring, you're one of the persons I always think about because you're always thinking ahead. You're always thinking of business. You're always there. And every time we bullshit, we talk about stuff. You're always like, hey, I'm in. So you have that go getter attitude. So that's why for an entrepreneur, you're Mr. Entrepreneur.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. So,
It is a compliment. But Caesar, you do the same things I do, but you do a little bit more. You've grown your company to not be limited just to one thing. You made it do multiple functions. You have a excellent crew that works for you, hardworking guys. But before all that, let's go way back. Let's go back to like your high school days. When you were in high school, were you a straight A student?
no, I know by any means. No, I I went to St. Francis Polytechnic High, right out in Sun Valley. That's where I was born and raised. And I'm gonna be honest with everybody. To me, wasn't a school guy. You know, I've had my office for many years now, and you will never see me in my office. I'm more of a hands-on type of guy. But going back to high school, I've always been a go-getter type of guy. I'm gonna even take it back to junior high, where we used to, we were kids, and I had a good friend of mine, Gary, may he rest in peace. He was a highway patrol officer, and he was involved in a bad accident many years back. But anyways, we were always working on our bikes and just hanging around. Back in the days in Sun Valley, there were a lot of fields, dirt fields, and that was our thing to go out there, ride our bikes, and have a little wreck and we had a lot of people around the neighborhood that were always, hey, could you guys mow our lawn? Hey, could you guys mow our lawn? Nowadays, you see a lot of gardeners, but back then, for some reason, I don't recall seeing a lot of gardeners. So, we used to go out mow lawns, and we had to make our little pocket money, and it was good. It was fun. It was all nice, innocent fun back in the days, and like I said, that was that was a nice little childhood childhood experience for me. To grow up with my friend and just enjoy our neighborhood and know everybody and that was it for me. Every summer, back in the days, every summer we would have 3 months off for summer. I don't know how the schools are doing it now. They get a month off and go back on. I don't know how it works now because it's been many years since my kids were in school. And every summer, my uncle used to own chemical cesspool service. Back in the days, you're talking about the 70s.
Okay.
And my father used to install, and one of the things that always called me was heavy equipment. I loved jumping on the backhoe, hanging on and hoping, hanging on to my dad's shoulder and stuff because me and my dad were very close, always. And every summer I would get up and I would go with my father just to hang out. I couldn't do anything. I was a kid, you know. But that's one of the things that I've always enjoyed was heavy equipment and stuff. And as I got older, you know, I started sneaking around. I say sneaking around because my dad, we would be on a big project, installing the septic tank or doing a sewer, and sometimes my dad would have to leave and go get material or whatnot. Right? And and he would say, "Come on, let's go." And I'd be like, "No, I'll stay back with the guys and hang out with the guys." And he would leave. And I remember jumping onto that backhoe, turning it on, and just moving the levers, trying to see what did what. And that was a blast for me, just learning. I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to do stuff like that. And yeah, it was great. It was a good childhood for me. Got into high school, and then it was all about the girls, you know, going to the drive-ins, going dating, and just having fun. And that was some of my childhood. Most of my childhood, it was just that going to the ranch in Mexico. My uncle had a ranch out there, and my dad, well, they had a property that my grandmother left, and they built on it and stuff. My uncle did, and that was it. Every weekend we would be out there in Tecate. That's where my family's from, and horseback riding, rolling trucks over, and you know, good kid stuff. It was nice.
So you enjoyed your childhood pretty much. You had a good time growing up. Um, and you're right. When I remember growing up as a kid, the neighbors would ask you to mow their lawn, take their trash cans out, and they pay you a couple bucks. And
Yes.
you thought you were
Yeah.
a baller. You thought you had like $5 that you were the kid walking around. I came around, you bought the ice cream for all the little girls and stuff. Those were
Yeah,
good times.
Joe, we would have mowed these lawns, right? And if they gave us $3, I remember telling my friend, "You get $1." He, "But why do I only get $1? And you get two?" And I was like, "Because it was my lawnmower," whatnot. That was such a, yeah.
You're
And,
you're thinking as an entrepreneur already.
maybe so, but I didn't know that at the time, and it was fun. I wish we could do it all over again, but we can't. And I always tell people this. I think I made more money as a teenager than now because the dollar used to be worth something, you know,
Yeah.
back in the days. Man, I remember I would repipe a whole house, Joe, underneath the house, all the plumbing and everything. And I would get all the material, everything, and $60, you know, $60, and I would have all the material and some left over. Nowadays, it's pretty tough out there. Yeah,
$60. Recession goes
yeah.
up. But so after high school, Caesar, what was what did you do? What did you do after high school? Did you go work for your dad, or did you try to do your own thing?
Yeah. After high school, I was with my father for a while, and like I said, I've always loved heavy equipment, trucks and whatnot, and I ended up working for Borges Rock. They used to be in Handsome Dam. When they were shutting down the dam, now they've built a nice pool out there
Uh huh.
in Lake Terrace. And I started doing this while I was in high school because I got a work permit while I was in high school. And I would go over there and operate their skip loaders for like 3 hours after school every day, you know. And like I said, I love that was a really good working experience for me. It taught me, they're really strict on taking care of your equipment, checking the fluids, the brakes, the safety of everything. And I hate to say that, and I don't mean this by that. I saw a really horrible accident there one time where we're filling up the dam with rock, dirt back then, and I tell this guy, "You're getting too close to the edge." Now, I was 16 years old at the time. This guy was, he was probably in his 30s and whatnot, and he was like, he would look at me like, "Come on, kid, I've been doing this since, whatever." And fine, I would load him up, and he would run the big dump truck out there, and again, he would. I would be scared for him. And what ended up happening was he backed up too close while the bed was up. And
What's
you're
up?
talking boulders the size of a bedroom, you know. You're talking about boulders the size of a bedroom, big, heavy equipment. And he backed up, and when his bed was coming up, his back tire sank, and he flipped all the way over. And he ended
Wow.
up, losing his life there. And
It's
from that moment on, I knew I better respect this equipment. It was very, it was kind of devastating to me because I was a kid still, but I
right.
learned, and so I always conducted myself, and I imposed it on my guys now. Safety comes first. I don't care. No job is worth anybody's, and so that's what I did, Joe, as a kid. I loved heavy equipment. I ended up liking going. I wanted to see the United States. I wanted to explore and see everything. And I ended up working for a moving company, right?
Okay.
And I liked it. I was young. I was a kid. And the opportunity came up where I already knew what I was doing on my own. I took control of a job, and I was the lead man of the crew. And they would give me my crew and my truck, and I would go wherever the job was. And one day the opportunity came up. Do you want to go to New York? I was a kid. Oh yeah, I wanted to go to New York. I was excited. I was a gung ho yes. A couple of days later, I was on my way to New York. Now back then, there was no GPS. There was no you know none of that. And yeah, I went to New York, loved it. Got out by Niagara Falls. Just started seeing things other than what my environment where I grew up at, and I loved it. I was hooked, and I just kept working. Next thing you know, I was in Seattle. I was in Orcas Island, out there in an island with a big rig. I just seen the country. It was nice. And little by little, I said I could do this. And now you don't make a lot of money doing moving, but you get by. You know,
Right.
and started saving a little bit of money here and there. Now I didn't. I bought me an old truck. You know, fixed it up, and because I wanted to do this, I wanted to have my own, and it was great. I fixed up my truck. I passed out some business cards. I went and took the test and got the license and all the legality. There's a lot of regulations in that industry. Especially when you're going cross country or whatnot. And little by little, I picked up, and I worked hard. I worked hard. Moving is when you start a job, you're on it from start to finish. People want to sleep in their bed that night. So whatever it took, depending on the size of that job, we were on it, and I loved it. And next thing you know, the phone was ringing. You learn how. You know, I was still fairly young. I didn't have experience. On the paperwork, the the administration part, too. So I learned, and I learned a lot the hard way. But that's what I like to do, and that's what I did, and it was great. I was able to for many years. It was just me and a couple of buddies that I knew that were in the industry. So and they were young, and they were hungry, just like I was, and I would ask them, "Do you want to go to Colorado?" They were there. They wanted to go. They want, you know, and we got to see a lot of beautiful places. I mean, you get out there in the United States, there is so many beautiful places that you don't see out in LA. Just in LA, LA's it's got its areas and stuff, but there's so many beautiful parts of the United States of the country that I would like for everybody to see. And it was great.
Yeah, 'cause especially like here in California, we either see sun or rain, and it's always dry. But in other parts of the United States, you actually see the time change 4 times. The seasons, you actually see the different seasons. It's really beautiful. You know, that's one of the best things about driving trucks. We have a lot of truck drivers that follow us, that see the program, and you know that's the one thing everyone tells me. Fuck, I would not trade this for the world. You know, we get to see the whole thing, but then we see the rain and the snow, and you're fucked.
No, it's really nice. I'm gonna, if you got a minute, I'll tell you a quick story here. While I was on my way out to Florida, I loaded up in Burbank and I was heading out to Florida. I had like 4 loads on me. I was gonna go to Florida, Florida to New York, New York up to Boston, were my last 2 stops, and then start working my way back to California, right? And I'm just driving. I used to like turning up my radio and just focus on the road, and it was nice. We get all the way out to Houston, and all of a sudden, I mean, the sky is just red, red. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this, you know? And I was at the truck stop filling up, and while I'm there, you know, you would get your snacks or, you know, little munchies to have in the truck and stuff. And I look up at the screen, and there was this hurricane coming.
Oh.
So I started doing the math, you know, it was going to hit the panhandle of Florida. And I started doing the math, and I'm like, I'm going to get there right as that hurricane is coming. No, we can't go that way. So I rerouted, made some phone calls, redid my delivery, and I headed up to Boston. I said, I'll go up to Boston. I'll be back down here in a few days. That hurricane will be gone. And so we go up to Boston, we work our way down, get all the way to Hawaiian Gardens, Florida, finish our last load, and we start heading back west, right? So we're coming back through the 10. Joe, I was in awe. I've never seen anything like this. I looked up to the side of the freeway on the 10 westbound. I'm heading back west. There was a mountain of wood. It looked like a 3-story house, big, of all the destruction of that hurricane. And
Wow.
I could only imagine what, you know, those poor people go through every season, and now it seems to be getting worse. But I'm like, it was just mind blowing that destruction, that, you know, it was something else. And I ran away too from a few you know, blizzards up in Battle Mountain, Nevada, and all that. And but those are minor compared to the destruction that I saw out there, you know. And
Yeah,
but it's tough being a truck driver.
but it's crazy how the good things that you thought about, you saw a big picture. If I keep going, I'm driving into the hurricane. Let me go around.
Well, you know, luckily I stopped to get fuel when I did, because or else I would have never saw it. You know, there wasn't, like I said, there was the news networks and all that weren't back then what they are today. So I just got lucky on that one, and thank God I got away from that. But yeah, truck driving, it's nice. You enjoy it. You see a lot of the country, but you have to watch yourself out there. And
Yeah.
if you want to come home safely, you know.
How
So
long did you do the movie process?
I went ahead and did that. I think probably a good 10 years or so. And
Okay.
and it was still good. Uh, in 2008, I I got to backtrack a little bit and tell you this too, Joe. That even though I had my movie and I was really busy, um, we were still doing the pumping. My father used to do it,
Okay.
and I was still getting a lot of calls for jobs, repairing, locating sewer connections, manholes, all that. And I would do some, but I would refer some out to people that I knew because I was just so busy. I was like, no. And then as time went on, um, the recession of 2008, you know, 2006, 5, 6, 7, all that was great, beautiful. I mean, you were on top of the world. There was so much work. And that recession was coming. And then you had public storage, because I also did moving and storage. So
Uh-huh.
the storage part was like booming. That was like out of control. Public storage, and I don't know if I could say their name, but whatever. Public storage, and them started offering $1 a month the first month, and little stuff like that. And I remember my girls telling me, "Hey, should we jump on the train and offer giving more incentives and stuff to?" And me being the stubborn person, no, 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 we're okay. We don't need to do that because you know how that goes. So.
Money.
And yeah, you know what? They started taking a lot of business from us, and I stuck to my guns, and I said no, we're not doing that. And and we were still okay, functioning good. What really took its toll on me is now get this. There's a lot of wonderful, beautiful people out there, hardworking, um, that give it their all, and I appreciate them because without them, we can't do anything by ourselves. Uh,
Right.
and over time, you just saw a shift in people's worth ethics. Um, where no, I don't want to do that. No, it's too hot today. No, and you're like thinking, come on, bud. When I did it no matter what it was. And I don't expect everybody to be like me. And I'm not saying that I'm the best or anything like that, but you just saw a big change where you would show up, you have 12 jobs to hit on the coast, San Diego. We did all of California all day long, and that took its toll on me. I didn't want to deal with that, and I felt like if I was babysitting after a while, and that's when you don't feel it no more, you know
You lose the
that
interest.
it's time to get out. It's time to get out. Now, having been already in business for so many years, I didn't want to go work for nobody. You know, what I mean, Joe. You're sitting there.
You wanted the $2, not the $1.
Yeah, it's hard. How could I go and take a step backwards? I felt like if I was going to take a step backwards, if I were to have to go work for somebody. Not saying that it's bad for anybody to work for anybody, but for me, it I don't know how to describe it, but it just didn't sit right with me, and I wasn't gonna do it. And that's where the good thing is that I always kept a few customers within the septic and the pumping and all in the construction side. I mean, I grew up on this stuff. I know how to do it from A to Z. You know,
Right.
and little by little, I started building on it and getting my clientele, making it grow. And when I felt, you know what, it's time. I'm ready to lose it with, just the struggles of covering the jobs that we had and not having the manpower. And it was frustrating. And I said, no, it's time for me to let go of the moving. And I sold. I had two moving companies, and I sold one first, just in case. You got to keep that little backup. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but let me ask you this, Caesar. While all this is going on, were you married already? Were you have kids?
Oh yes, yes. I mean,
So, so not only did you running three businesses, so you had two moving companies and a public storage or a storage facility, plus you were running a household. You had your wife and your kids. So that's
yes.
great, bro. That's like, that's a lot to handle, especially because it's hard to keep the wife happy when you're out on the road, and and you gotta be there for your family. My plus running two moving companies and having a storage facility. How did you
Yeah.
cope with all that?
You know what? As I think back about it on it, and I missed to mention that part of it. Yeah, that's tough, especially when your kids are small and they need you. to meet you. And and sometimes I wish, man, I wish I could take back some of that and not been gone so much. But at the time too, I was trying to build my foundation and and build on my foundation so that I would be able to provide for them. But at the same time, that's where you got to weigh your options and say, you know what? Yeah, it's good. We want to be okay, but the attention they needed maybe wasn't 100%. And I try to spend time with my son. Now he's with me. He works with me, and the girls. The girls are girls. The girls are a little bit different. Their mom deals with them more. But yeah, that's very important. And I should have mentioned that. And I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
That's what I'm here for. It's funny because Caesar's son actually works with him, and my son works with me. And sometimes we're out there, all four of us, and Caesar and I, it's funny how, because we see them and we're like, these guys are lum nuts, man. They should be doing a lot. And, we have a good time. And it gets even better because one of these days we have to have your dad on with us. Gonzalo, Caesar's dad, that guy, he really goes off on today's generation. He's another great guy that I enjoy talking to, and we just have fun. Honestly, when I had Jeff here the other day, we were talking about like work. Yeah, it's hard, but when we all get together at the dump and everything, it's like it's a party. And when we had our boy Tony there, we had pizza parties. We had everything.
Yeah.
Times. But that's really interesting, Caesar. Like I said, that's a lot on your plate. 2 moving companies. Here, speaking of Jeff, he goes, "You're harsh on the boys." We're harsh on Jeff too sometimes.
Yeah. No, you know what? The kids are great. Not everybody's the same, right, Joe? We know that.
Exactly.
And we had a different upbringing than what they did, and but still, there are boys, and I love little Joe. Little Joe's great. Every time I see him, I gotta crack a joke at him. I always tell him, "Where's the girl?" But it's just a fun, innocent joke between me and him. And yeah, I think, what was it, last year? We ended up having, was it the year before, when we had our little taco thing at my dad's? We had a nice little. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a thing. As a matter of fact, the other day, your dad was telling me, "Hey, la carnita asada, ¿qué onda?"
Yeah.
We ended up turning business. I think we'll get more into this a little bit later in the story. I don't want to lose the focus of where we're at. Where you're still in the moving business, and you're at the point where you're starting to lose interest. You're starting to see that, this is not giving me the satisfaction that it was giving me before. So at that point, you're looking at your dad, and you're looking at the business that really no one's really doing, because everyone's too busy pumping. Back then, there was a lot of septic, and there was no time to do locations. There was no time to fix the systems. So what were you thinking at that point?
At that point, I was really, I wasn't happy no more, at that point. But I knew that there was no way that for me to feel that the happiness or the gratification, that I could not go back and work for anybody. And so I started all those jobs that I used to give away and refer out, the locating and stuff. I ended up starting to picking them up. Like I said, I ended up selling one moving company. The same guy came back like about 6 months later, and he says, "What do you want to do with that other moving company?" Because he was doing good. He was younger, he had a lot of energy, and he goes, "Let's work out the same deal." I go, "Let's go." I had already established myself back into the locating, the pumping, and all that. and where I felt comfortable that I was gonna be okay. So I went ahead and sold front movers, and that was the end of that. You know, I kind of wish my brothers would have taken it over. I wanted my brothers to have one. That's why I sold one, because in my intentions were that hopefully my brothers, they would be okay, you know, to run one
Right.
for them, and I wanted to see them do good, but they didn't want it. It wasn't in it. They weren't in it, you know. To And I saw that they weren't ready to, you know, take control of something and build on it and be okay. So I said no. I don't want to put that on them, and I think I did the wise choice, you know. And but anyways, going back, I ended up you know, I wouldn't really advertise. I never advertised with the pumping or anything like that. It was just I picked up the phone. I called a few friends, you know, that are in the industry, and hey, and my phone started ringing more. You know, got to the point where I said, hey, I need some guys. I can't do this. I can't do this by myself anymore. You know, it
Right.
takes its toll. But I was enjoying myself. This is the difference. I was enjoying myself. I had fun. I was happy again. I wasn't falling into that what I was feeling at the end when I had the moving company. I was happy again, and I got to spend more time with my father. You know, like I said, me and my father were really close back in the days, and and when you're doing moving and doing all this other stuff, you don't see nobody. You hardly see your family, and that's why. If anybody plans on getting into the moving or the trucking business, do it while you're young, before you have family and kids, and you know that would be my advice on that one. If you want to get into the trucking, you want to enjoy your kids, man. You know, now
Yeah,
what I get to
exactly.
do, well, now I enjoy riding along with my son and my father. We're always together now, and it's great. We see each other every day, and you know, I cheat a little bit here and there too, and I'll have them go to work while I take my day off, and you know, hey, but we could do that today, Joe. You know,
Exactly.
just be happy and stuff. You know, and yeah, when I got into this, you know, to me in my head, this was what how for me. You know, I don't have competition. You know, the guys out there are my buddies. Most pumpers, most of the guys, you see them. We see them all day long. 99% of them are great people. You know, inspectors,
We,
everybody that.
we could say when we get together at the facility where we dump, pretty much like 5 trucks get at the same time, and it's all different companies that, and all we really do is we don't worry about the competition. We help each other. You know, we have
Yeah,
the newest guy is Pete. He's always asking us about stuff with his truck, and we're there to help. You know,
yeah.
out of what do you say? There's about 8 of us, Caesar, that we pretty much dump at the same time there, and we have one new one, but that's the dick licker. We don't like him. He
Well,
but
you know.
everywhere else, we all get together, and that changed a lot because when I started working for Showalters, and it's going to be now 5 years. And back then, I didn't see Caesar that much. His dad was the one that was running the truck. Caesar was out work doing the work, the locating and everything. And it was a little different because Caesar was a different kind. He was like business only. He would just show up and leave it. And I started talking to Caesar. I was like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" We started joking around, and I saw a difference in Caesar. Also, he started to get more mellow because back then you were just up and down, doing digging tanks or installing new systems, doing everything. So from going from the moving business, I think you created a bigger empire with construction in the septic systems and the pumping. I think you went. It was the right move for you.
Yes, I believe so too, and And my one of my biggest rewards, I would say, from taking that step is that I'm home every day now, and I'm spending time with my father, my son, and it's just great to me, that I'm able to always be close with my family. I get to go home every day, sleep in a warm bed, and just I enjoy my grandson. I enjoy the family, and the the work. You know, thank God we've always had work, and in the last 3 4 years, the phones have really taken off, and there's times that I'll have a work log that you know I can't take another job until 2 3 months out because we got a nice backlog. That is
Right.
great, and I don't say that we're the best. Never. There's always somebody out there that's better or the same or whatever it may be. But I've always, and this is what I've always believed in anything that I do, whether it was moving, plumbing, pumping, septic, whatever. Let your work speak for yourself. I tell my guys,
Exactly.
and it really works. And my guys, my guys are good. I take care of them. Um, I wish I could pay them more. They deserve more, but I have to stay within you know, looking at it from the business side, I have to stay within a certain criteria, but I stay on the high end. That's for me because I appreciate my guys and I try to give them their little bonuses here and there. You know, um,
And I
my
vouch for
guys
that.
are, huh?
I could vouch for
What's
that
that?
because
Sir?
yeah, because I always fuck with Caesar's guys. They're really good guys. What you probably show him this video later. These guys work ass off, man. They're hardworking guys. And I always say, fuck, Caesar should pay you more. He's like, no, he pays us good. And for the work they do, believe me, the work they do, and they're happy with the pay that they're getting paid pretty good. So that's highly of Caesar. And another thing is the equipment. Caesar, you could say like that you're a small company. You have your workers and everything, but you're a small company with a big construction company's tools. Like you have everything that you need, and above that, I've worked for other companies where they're scared to buy tools, and I asked Caesar, I need this. Oh, go pick it up in the shop. And I've been to the shop, and I was surprised the first time he had different like three of everything, different sizes, different everything. I was like, fuck, Caesar. Did you get a special at Home Depot? ¿Qué onda? But that, that,
No.
that, that's how a company is run, and because the tools is what does the work, and you provide your employees good pay, the right tools, and it makes their job easier. That speaks highly of you. I've had conversations with Jeff, my boss, and he tells me the same thing. He's like, dude, I'm surprised. We all we do is pumping, so we see different companies out there doing work on things, and you're surprised to see like these bigger companies don't really have the right tools, and it's like, fuck, you feel bad for the guys, and I've referred Caesars to a lot of jobs, and all the customers are happy. They call me, hey Joe, thank you. That guy was really good. I had company customers where I would tell them that they had a problem and they need to fix it, and they're scared to call someone because they're scared for pricing. And I tell Caesar, this guy's my uncle, hook him up. And Caesar goes over there, and they call me. He's like, dude, you know what? Thank you. This guy, we thought it would be so expensive, and this guy was like really reasonable pricing. They were in and out in a couple of days. That speaks highly, and that makes me happy because one, we're friends, and it makes me happy that know that my friend does good work. And two, as a business, it's like I'm happy I referred the right person to do the right job, and I can't really speak no more better of the quality of work your guys do. You do, Cesar. You're always out there supervising. He came all the way up here to Hello Valley to help me do a favor for a good friend of mine, and it was a 2-day job. And actually, that should have been, Cesar. That should have been like a 3-day job, and these guys busted out in a day and a half. So that speaks highly of you and your guys, Cesar. So you have a great team over there, and this is what I'm going
Thank you. No.
Being a small company, you have the right equipment, more than what you really need, and you have the good team. So that right there speaks highly of you, as far as where you're saying, you're paying on what it is. I think you're doing a great job as a businessman. Maintaining your guys happy and running a good business. And as far as that, did you picture yourself in that situation when you were that 16-year-old kid moving the trucks around and handing them? Did you picture yourself seeing yourself at this point?
No, never. I never even thought about, we don't, at that age, we don't think of the future. Yeah, we don't think like that. And even today, I don't think, maybe I don't give myself a lot of credit or whatnot. I'm just comfortable and happy where I'm at. And my guys, like I said, if I could give these guys more money, they would have it. No questions asked. But we do our best, Joe. We try to keep everybody happy. During COVID, our business actually took off. Why? Because we deal with septic, right? Everybody's at home. Wash your hands. Wash your face. Just filling up septics left and right, and so some businesses did a lot better than others. A lot of people shut down. We were fortunate that our businesses took off, but we did see a lot of people lose their jobs with failing systems and stuff. And now I didn't do this a lot, probably a handful, where they didn't have the money for the service, the pump. So what we did was these have been our customers for 20 plus years, 20 years or whatnot, and loyal customers. And what we started trying to do was, if we're coming down the hill with half a load and they were around the corner, we would try to stop by, fill up our truck, and keep them going. And just don't worry about it whenever you guys bounce back. We'll just continue to say, I believe in giving back to the community. I'm not saying that I do it a lot, but a little bit goes a long ways, I think, and we love our communities, and try to take care of the customer as best we can. You're going to always have one or two that's, you can't be everything to them. They're not, you know what I mean? There's always going to be one or two that you can't please no matter what you do. So,
and it was funny that that was I referred to Cesar. So Cesar, this guy wants you. But
we joke around a lot.
That's what it is, Cesar. Honestly, because we do the same thing over here. Last year, I had a customer that I did his house, and I do their daughter's house. Like 3 of their family members, they're customers. And the guy was a really nice guy. And every time I go over there, he had like a really heavy lid, and he'd be out there trying to open it for me. Yeah. And the last time I went there, I was like, the lid, everything was shut down. I was like, he's probably not feeling good. And the daughter came out. He's like, oh, he passed away. I was like, wow. Yeah. And I called our office person, Debbie, and I told her, hey, I'm not gonna charge them, And my company does the same thing. We always give back, and I think that's why both of these companies, we've been in business for so long, because we respect our customers. That's the key point.
Yeah.
And when we work with Cesar respects my customers. I respect Cesar's customers. It's funny how we ended up running our businesses in line where we don't have to take our customers. We respect each other's customers, and we respect the customer. I think that's why we've been so successful on both ends of the companies. But we have someone here. It says Christina Lopez. She says that's awesome. Christina?
No, I don't. Christina
She,
Lopez.
yeah, she says it's awesome how how your story is awesome. But Caesar, so now here in the state of California, because one of the things I liked about Garcia and Sons, they had an old internet, it's a Freightliner. An old Freightliner has a cool look to it. But here
Freightliner. Yes.
in California, you know, the state emission controls, you have to change your trucks. So Mr. Garcia is driving around in a brand new truck. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we've been talking about this for quite a while now, right? And our truck to me, yes, it's older. It's still okay, and it gets the job done. And they made us put this filter on it, carb filter for the emissions or whatnot. We spent quite a bit of money on this. It was, it wasn't cheap. And to me, it's like this truck gets the job done, man. Comes and goes, comes and goes. I mean, the thing's got close to 600,000 miles now. That's how much it's worth, right? But it comes and goes. I stand next to it. I don't smell no diesel or nothing. You know how you could smell the pollution when you're standing next to a truck. But this filter has taken care of it. But the law is the law, and I was supposed to get it like in January of this year. It was actually a little late. I did order it last year at some point, and I had a problem with the first company I went with the first dealership, so I walked away from that, and I went ahead and purchased it somewhere else. And the thing with that is, I was against it, because I saw our other colleagues. Andy Gupp bought a bunch of new trucks. I think it was around 2009, 2010 when this filter system was coming out on the trucks, right? And they were constantly in the shop, constantly breaking down. It was always something, and I said no, I can't do this. A truck like that for a small business could set you back big. It could bankrupt somebody that's not ready for something like that,
Right.
So I said no. I stuck to my guns. I said I'm gonna wait till the last minute. They have to take my old truck away before before I buy one, right? And then I saw Showalter's Jeff. Jeff went and picked up a Freightliner, right? I don't know. I think it was 2014 or so. And then a year later, purchased another one. I think you're driving one of those, the 14, I think. And nice, beautiful trucks. But I got to be honest with you. I felt, let me see how these trucks are gonna perform before I just go ahead and rush it, because seeing what I saw with the other companies struggling with these new trucks, I wasn't prepared, and I was not willing to go spend a lot of money to have problems. So I waited as long as I could, and I was hoping that they would perfect this DEF system. And so far, I mean, I just got the truck February 1st. It was delivered to me. Great. I've already put like 9,000 miles in that thing, right? And so far, so good. Let's see how it does. But yeah, I was against it.
The trucks are nice. Caesar has a really nice truck. I like his truck. And the trucks are really nice. But the problem, I think, we've had issues with the truck, and I think one of the problems is that where they build these trucks is in the East Coast, and they don't have mountains like we do. When we put trucks in, Caesar, no one believes how we get them in and out, and I think that's a big problem, that we put a lot of wear and tear into the trucks, and
Yes.
and I love seeing your pops every day, because Mr. Gonzalo Garcia still goes out and works. I think he retired 2 years ago. He decided to retire, right? That's when you took the truck over.
Yes.
And now that I guess he saw the truck parked there. He's like, no, I need to move it a couple of days. And it's cool how to see Caesar.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cesar.
I'm sorry, I was losing you there. You were cutting out. I didn't get the last part.
No, I say that it's cool to see how, to see three generations of Garcia. You have Gonzalo, Cesar, and Pizza. That's what we call Little Caesar. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yes, yes.
We have a message here. It says, "Love you, pops. So proud of you and the business." Cynthia Garcia.
That's my daughter. They're probably all watching somewhere in the home or something back there. But
But
no, yeah, it's great. It's beautiful to be here and know everybody that I know in the business and just everything about it I love. I love this pumping. I love putting in sewer systems. I really love doing the jobs that people say cannot be done. That's where I thrive in. I love to say, well, no, 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 that's impossible. Wait a minute. Come on, guys. That's that's what I love to do, to troubleshoot them and leave them right every time. I could tell you a story, but I don't know if I'm allowed to mention this actress's name, so I'm not going to mention her name. You know, where this lady was out there in Malibu, and companies went out there. She kept getting an order, kept getting an order in her kitchen, right? These guys went out there. She spent $38,000 plumbing up, put in new plumbing all over the house. Now this is a tri-level home, 3 levels, right? The lower level has a submersible pump that shoots it out. The top the third floor just by gravity, and but nobody ever ran a camera directly into the kitchen sink, right? So they repiped everywhere around the house and all that. And I went in there and I ran a little micro camera down her kitchen line. And the problem the whole time was right there, right underneath, right underneath her kitchen sink. I'm telling you, we cut a little piece of drywall. We had that thing where we're done in and out of there in one day. The cost was super low, and she loved us. She she only wanted us from there on out. But you know, I don't know if their reps and their managers communicate and speak to each other. And man, next thing you know, I had another actor, another movie star, another, and I'm like, how are they getting my number? And I could only think maybe it was because their reps and their people communicate. The other thing with that is that it was great. I loved them all. She was a sweetheart, and but we're not 24-hour service, and these guys are pretty demanding, and they're gonna have a party or they're gonna have an event, and I can't, and I had to step away from it. And but those are the ones that I like, Joe. When somebody says we can't figure it out, we can't figure it out, and when you have a big company calling a little guy like me asking me, hey, could you come out here and let's figure this out together, and we go out there and we solve it. That's a beautiful feeling. There, it's not even about the money. It's it's that hey, we got this done, man, and this big company couldn't figure it out, and we stepped in, we helped them out, and we solved their problem. That's that's my reward. It's not, yeah, the money's okay, but but
God,
that's my reward, and
the satisfaction of being able to do something that a bigger company couldn't do, that's the best satisfaction. That is true. The
yeah,
money's nice, but when you have the satisfaction of doing the job, that tops everything. That's
yes, everything else doesn't matter. It's just you walk away feeling so happy and with a big smile all the way home. You get home in a good mood, and it's nice, and that goes back, I guess, to when I was that little kid under a house with my father, and he would say, "Go get a 16, go get it." And I was a little rabbit running in and out of that house, from underneath the home, and no, most of the things that I know, I picked up from my father, and I try to implement now and bring in new ways and make it all come together, and it's great. So yeah, um, No, I mean that's the most rewarding thing for me right now is that hey that we're busy and there's nothing better than to working with your father and your son, you know. Hmm.
Exactly.
To me, you know, and and I hope that if anybody out there is going into business gets the same reward, you know,
Makes it
and
work.
makes it work and think about what they're find something that they love to do and stick with that so that they don't have that same little I'm not gonna say setback that I had from going from moving and jumping back to the septic, but if I would have started with septic, I would have been somewhere else a little bit higher up the chain. But no regrets. I loved what I did back then. I got to see the country. I got to see things that a lot of people might not ever see. Um, and that was great, you know. Um, I think um, I think Jeff did moving too for a little bit for a company called Allied or something like that. Yeah, me and Jeff used to talk, and I guess at some point, you know, he probably liked heavy equipment, and that's what we do. We love to, you know. So we go out there
Yeah.
and explore and experiment and whatnot, and then, huh?
Hey, we're about to come
What's it?
to an end, but let me ask you this: what advice can you give to all the new entrepreneurs or all the people out there looking or struggling? What advice can you give them?
You know, if you really want to get into business and you have found what you love and enjoy, it's gonna take a lot of hard work in the beginning, and and you're gonna have ups and downs, okay? And there's gonna be some that fall, but we get back up. Don't let that deter you and stop you from striving and pushing forward to what you want to do. Most importantly, where I had a problem too was keep your paperwork in order. If you could you take a little business administration class, um, good CPA, keep your taxes, everything in order. Because all this stuff will catch up to you. I'm telling you, I learned the hard way, and it cost me, but you know, we got through it, put it behind us, and we kept going. Um, and like I said, I mean, even to today, after doing this all these years, there's days where I don't want to get up. I'm gonna take the day off. I start looking for every excuse in the book. I need to spend time with my grandson. I gotta take, you know, we get up and we go to work. Uh, I can't say it in English. It's in Spanish, but there's a saying, you know, si tienes tienda, atiéndala. You gotta. How would you translate that, Joe? You know,
Translation
it's
is
hard to translate it.
if you have a store, you take care of it. If you never take care of your store, sell it. Right?
Something like that. Something like that. But no, seriously, um, there there's been a lot of businesses that start. I like to read a lot and see what's going on out there. Not that it even applies to me, depending on what kind of business you're gonna get into. Um, really, there's gonna be good times and bad times, and that's just the way it is in every businesses. No, and during there was a lot of businesses that started right before the pandemic. Nobody anticipated the pandemic. Nobody knew it was coming. Right? These businesses are now gone, and the psychological effect that it has had on many people has been hard. Um, there's gonna be good and bad, and no matter what, we get up every day. We keep putting one foot in front of the other. If we fall, we get up and we keep going. You know, don't business is tough, but the tough's got to keep going, right? Uh,
Exactly.
and that's one of the things that I wish somebody would have told me, because we had a lot of ups and downs for me, for my moving company. But the most important thing is get up, work hard, push for what you want, and you're gonna get it. And I wish you guys the best. And if there's anything me or Joe could help you guys out with, we're here. And yeah, wish you guys all the best.
You have another message here from
Mhm.
Rain Arbuckle. It says, "Way to go, Cesar! You're the best. Garcia and Sons, Cesar Garcia Inc."
Thank you. Yes, that's me, Cesar Garcia Inc. Yes, thank you.
And like,
And with that, Joe, I don't know. You had another question?
no, pretty much just wrapping
Sorry,
up the show. I want to say thank you, Cesar. One, thank you for being a good friend. You know, always there whenever we need anything. You're. I call you. Fuck this guy. I don't know if he went to help me, but he stopped from going to a job to go help me. I don't know if he went to help me or to go laugh at my truck being stuck in the mud.
I have a nice video of that. One of these days, I'm gonna share it with you guys.
And, that's the type of guy Cesar is. He's one of those guys that even if he's busy, he'll go out of his way to give you a hand. And I appreciate that as a friend. And here as an entrepreneur, I think you're a great entrepreneur, Cesar. Thank you for sharing your story. There's people out there that are going to relate. There's people out there that are going to take advantage of seeing what you've accomplished by listening to your story. I really appreciate you sharing your story. And, I wish you the best of luck, bro. For like Lorraine says, Cesar Garcia Inc. Let's make that happen, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow, Joe.
You got it, man.
And a shout out to Jeff and everybody. Thank you.
Have a good night, Cesar.
You too. Thank you, Joe. Bye-bye.